Well, hi everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and welcome to our Sunday broadcast. This one is always our Soul Sunday broadcast. We do our soul work, get ourselves ready for the coming week. So if you're new to the broadcast, if you're watching it on the replay, or if you've never been here before, welcome. And know that in the notes below, you're going to see two time slots. One will say from 00 to a certain time, news, views, and updates. And then, hi, Kerry. And then you're going to see from another time to the end, that'll be the topic of the day. And today is our Soul Work Sunday. That's our topic. So just so that you know, we're sort of like an extended family of people. So we like to sort of keep up to date with everybody's news, views, and updates. And that's what we do to start with. But if you want to skip that and go straight to the topic, then you know how to do that. All right, and the other couple of quick housekeeping things. Hi Jody, if you are not a subscriber, I believe round about somewhere down here, there is a bell. And if you click that, it will let you know whenever we are about to go live. And the other thing is, if you follow Dear Mama Sal on Facebook and Twitter, I normally give a 35-minute warning to let you know that I'm about to go live. Now, occasionally it's not a 35-minute warning. If I'm running late, if I've overslept, if if the world gets in the way. But most days it is a 35-minute warning. It's the exception that it's not. So, welcome to everybody, and particularly to all the Canadian viewers. I wanted to wish them all a very happy Thanksgiving. It is our Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada. And I just want to say that I gave a lot of thanks. I went to lunch yesterday with Doug and Jess and had a super lunch and was very thankful. Although I must admit the US politics dominated the conversation. But other than that, we really had fun yesterday. And it was Laura's birthday. For those of you who are old school and remember back to Laura from Ohio, it was her birthday on Friday, just so that you know. And we're looking forward. This week, we've got a birth coming into the extended family, and that'll be baby Lily. Beth's new granddaughter is going to be arriving on Tuesday. So that's all the birthdays and anniversary catch-ups. I also wanted to let those of you who know Oz know that I did speak to him again this week, bless his heart. And yeah, and he is going off back to Indonesia in about a week. And that is going to be really nice, because this time he's actually going to take a camera, and I believe he's going to send photos and stuff for us. So that's going to be very exciting. We know that Linda needs some support. She lost Lucky this week. He had to be allowed to pass over. He had cancer, and so our hearts go out to you, Linda, as you know. I did put him up on the pets page, because I honestly believe he dearly deserved to be there. He touched a lot of hearts in a short time in our lives. And, when I was sitting thinking about it, I went, yeah, he deserves to go there. And it was really strange, because for some reason I hadn't put him up earlier. And I think, I don't believe in coincidences. So I believe that something was stopping me putting it up then, so that I could put it up now. And that's what I like to believe. So Linda, our thoughts and prayers are with you. And, feel all the emotion you need to, because that is important. And I found, I don't know if anybody else here has lost a pet. I think a couple of people have. One of the greatest bits of advice that Nana gave me was I was having a big problem, because whenever I used to drive home, I had a window next to my front door, and Bean Bean would always be standing there waiting for me to come home. And so that was really difficult for me to drive and not see his face there. And what Linda suggested to me was to get a really nice plant and put it there, so that when I looked at it, I could smile at the beautiful plant, but know that it was there as a love thing for Bean Bean. And I actually got a beautiful orchid and put it there. And I've had an orchid there sort of ever since, although I must admit they're all dying now. So that's just a thought, you know, that you might think about, Linda, or, you know, if you've got a garden, plant a new bush or something and know that's Lucky's bush. You know what I mean? So I found that, you know, whatever you can do that is positive, but remember the good stuff. I know that you're really angry. And by the way, I really applaud you for ratting out the abusive owners. And I'm glad to hear that all, and you know, Linda just told me that all the pets have been taken away from the previous owners. And I'm really, really pleased that that happened for the sake of the pets. So any other news, views, and updates that we need before we... Oh, that's interesting. So Jody's saying that they put up a hydrangea when Pico, in Pico's window when he passed. Yes, it does. It does help, doesn't it? I was quite surprised how much it helps. You know, I'd go, what the, oh yeah, I know why it's there. You know, because first of all, it's like, why is there a plant there? Oh yeah, I know why it's there. You know, and it would just be, it's amazing how these little habits, you know, are imprinted in our brains. You know, that it was just so strange not to see Bean Bean's face where it was meant to be. And it was my suggestion, well, thank Nana, don't thank me. Because it was Nana who did it. Or it was Nana who suggested it to me and I just merely passed it on. So today, at a timestamp of 7 minutes, Jody, today we're going to be continuing our topic of Soul Sunday. Hi, Katie. Wow, and Linda's now telling me that the SPCA, or the RSPCA, I guess, have asked her if she would take a cat in from those abusive owners, and they're going to do that. Well, that's awesome that you would take a second abused animal. So welcome to everybody that's here. If you have anything you want to share, this would be the time to do it, because otherwise I'm going to go straight on to the topic of the day. And what I want to do is just get everybody set up ready for the coming week and moving on with our lives and what it is we want to do. So anybody got any updates that you would like to share? Hi, Jonas. Good to see you. How's the job, Jonas? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Now, you obviously had a good reason for quitting it. So, you know, it's like, obviously there was a learning lesson there somewhere. Yeah. That's a bit difficult, you know, quitting your first job. I mean, I think most of us have quit. Has anybody not ever quit a job? Just as a matter of interest, just so Jonas knows that, you know, he's not alone in this. I definitely quit a job. I've quit two that I can remember. When I say I quit it, I mean I literally just quit it. Two that I went, okay, that's it. Anyway, if you want to share, Jonas, let us know, and if not, we understand. The timestamp now is 9. So today we're going to talk about how to be happy. And when I say how to be happy, it's going to be the usual thing. I'm going to come up with some quotes. And if you would, just share where you're at today, you know, how you react to these quotes today. I always say on a Sunday that we could hear the same quotes next week and react differently because we'll be in a different place. So the first one I found that I really liked was that the secret of being happy is accepting where you are in life and making the most out of every day. The secret of being happy is accepting where you are in life and making the most out of every day. And boy, isn't that the truth? I gave myself a scare today, and I don't mind telling you that. And it was really, I had to very quickly do some processing, and I'm going to be talking about that on Friday, to get myself back into the moment. I suddenly started to awfulize, if any of you know what I mean by that. I started to build big mountains out of a situation that didn't necessarily need it. Yeah, so both Jody and Kerry say that they've quit a couple of jobs. Kerry's saying she had so much fun at the wedding yesterday. Yes, it looked like you did, and I'm delighted that you were so happy. It's really nice to see pictures of you looking so happy. Yeah, and Jody, that's you. In order to be happy, you have to concentrate on pumpkin pancakes, right? Or waffles, I think it is, that you're making for dinner tonight. Yeah, do you feel like you're the black sheep, Linda? Really? Why do you feel like you're the black sheep? If you care to share that. And while we're waiting, so Katie's saying she's only quit one job, but it's 50% of the job she's had. So she quit one and not the other. Because you won't conform. Yeah, because you won't live your life on other people's timeline or layout or whatever. Yeah, that does create a little bit of a black sheep problem. And believe me, I know, Linda. But we also pay the price for that, right? It goes two ways. Number one, we get that freedom, but number two, we pay the price. And I'm pretty sure that you all are aware of that. It's the price of freedom is sometimes can be quite lonely. And I was talking yesterday to Doug and Jess when I was at lunch, and I don't know if you know, but apparently where I live in British Columbia, in particular in the Vancouver area, they've got a real problem going on at the moment because of loneliness. And the reason is that very few people, British Columbia, in particular Vancouver, is a place where people gravitate to. They leave Calgary with the snow. Family is here. So what they're noticing is a mental health, it's just a mental health issue where people are suffering from loneliness. And I thought you guys might like to know that, because I would agree with the fact that we need to be very aware of that and, work very hard not to be in that place, because that will lead to depression and all sorts of other things. So I thought I'd just put a note in there. And as you know, part of the reason why I'm going to be moving the way that I'm moving is because I will inherit a community. And I think that's really important for this part of my life. All right, so the next quote. Linda's saying black sheep are lovely. Yeah, you think so. Yeah, they are very pretty. Very cuddly too. And Jody agrees. So here's the second quote. Life only comes around once. So do what makes you happy and be with whoever makes you smile. Any reaction to that from any of you this week? Do what makes you happy and be around people that make you smile. So when I talk about people that make you smile, who comes to mind? I've got a couple of people that don't just make me smile, they make me laugh. I mean, I think about Marnie, or Doug as well, makes me laugh a lot. But I do know that when I'm with Doug, we talk a lot of serious stuff as well. But yes, Kerry's saying that she's presently living that quote. What a wonderful place to be. And congratulations to you for that, Kerry. We're all so happy that you're happy. All right, so Kerry says she tries reaching out when she feels like her anxiety may be trying to, keep her down. Excellent. Yes, and Jody's saying she reaches out to Lionel, to me, and to Lauren. because we have become long distance friends, Lauren and myself. And so, part of our job is to keep Jody in trim, and that means make her laugh every now and then. Oh, Linda, bless you. Yeah, she also says me. Yeah, and I thank you, Linda. She says not only do I make her smile, but also, the extended family here. And I thank everybody for that, because it is terribly important that we get, that we do that for people, because life is difficult these days for a lot of people. So here's the next one. Take a deep breath. Are you ready? Being happy doesn't mean everything's perfect. It means you've decided to look beyond your imperfections and live in the present, I would add. It's like if we just take this moment in time and go, everything that has gone right and wrong in my life brings me to this moment. So I might as well enjoy it. Right? Yeah, Kerry's saying that Mike makes her happy, and Dora, her dog, makes her happy, and her nieces and nephews make her happy. Absolutely. So, and by the way, if you haven't got anybody around you that makes you happy, what are you going to do about it? Because that is the other point that I always talk about, right? Which is we can either say that's, it's all right for them. They've got people that make them happy. Whereas my attitude would be, if you don't, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to go out and do? Are you going to go out and join some club of people that do mad, interesting things? Are you going to, do whatever? And then you'll hear all the excuses. Well, I would, but I don't have the money. Well, I would, but, I don't know where to start. Or, well, I would. Or go and join a local church, or go and take time and be a visitor for people in hospitals who haven't got a visitor. Go and be a hospice person, because you will laugh, surprisingly enough. You're right. And it's you think that would not be happy stuff, but you'll be surprised how much you will laugh doing that. And also you get a great sense of, serving more than just yourself. Yes, Kerry, I did see that his parents and aunt, it looks like you really enjoyed his aunt big time. So I'm glad that you did that and that you went. So here's the next quote. Let's take another deep breath and let me know what comes up for you. Life only comes around once. We just did that one. So we'll do another one. I'm sitting here going, that rings a bell. Start each day with a grateful heart. How many of you do that? How many of you actually wake up and give thanks? Hello, I woke up. Yay. Thank you. Hello, my eyes are working today. Thank you. Hello, I can stand up today, because a lot of people can't. Hello, there's my husband. A lot of people don't have one. Even hello, there's my husband who makes me smile, because a lot of people don't have that, that's for sure. And so, you look at it and you go, if you start each day with being grateful, it will be a much better day. And it may be, and I think about you, Jody, it may be, wow, my pain threshold is only at 5 today, not 8, which, would be a reason to be thankful. By the way, I just checked the figures this morning. And for those of you who know that I've been trying to improve my sleep pattern to give my body a better chance of coping with everything at the moment, I've actually managed now to do my first goal, which is to average 7 hours sleep a night for a full week. It took me 3 weeks to do it. But I've done it. It was just over 7 hours, but yay, I did it. So I felt very proud of myself for that, because it took a lot of discipline. It took a lot of, not binge watching at 2 o'clock in the morning, turning over and going to sleep instead. Yeah, thank you, Jody. But I'm surprised how disciplined I had to be. I literally had to work at getting meditation music ready so that, if I was still awake at 2:00, that, okay, on goes the meditation music, not the next show. And what I did is I bought myself a loudspeaker for my tablet because the volume on my tablet is very low. And as some of you know, I'm partially deaf, and it was too low for me. So what I did is I bought an external speaker for my tablet, and that's above my head. Sits on a windowsill above my head. And so, it's actually quite nice because you're watching the pictures and you're hearing the sounds from behind you. And then I'm busy doing that military thing to go to sleep quickly at the same time. I had a very difficult sleep last night. I'm actually surprised I did as well as I did. I'm just going to try and show you because for some reason, my body did not want to relax. And I just want to show you how difficult it was. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, I think I can. If I think I can, I can. Look at all the times I woke up. You see the red bits? And if you look really carefully, they're more small ones, if you can see those. But so all those red bits, can you see the small ones as well in between? They're sort of like here, oops, here. So that is a pretty difficult night's sleep. But I got some REM in and I got some deep sleep in. But I just, I think it was because of the broadcasts I did. That my mind is still trying to file everything that I brought up for myself during those 2 difficult broadcasts. And it probably will continue to during the week. Hi, Marie, good to see you. So, has anybody got a goal that they are striving for this week in terms of their health? I actually have good news to report. I don't know if I said this on Friday, but I did manage to lose 3 pounds this week. Yay. Which still means that I am way overweight, but at least it's, at last it's going in the right direction. And I think to some degree, the moringa powder is, now that I've upped the amount that I'm taking, Jody, I think it is beginning to help. And I'm also trying to make some better choices. When I went out to lunch yesterday, I had a portion of yam fries, but I only ate half of them. And then I had a mixed salad with oil and vinegar. Now, that isn't what I would normally eat in that particular restaurant. Okay, so Marie's saying she wants to get back to the gym. So good. And what would stop you, Marie? Lots of excuses, right? What are the normal excuses you give? Jody, could you make a note of that so we can follow up with her at the end of the week, see how she's doing? I'd appreciate that if you could. So now this one is a quote that a lot of you will relate to. So take another deep breath. So the key to being happy is knowing that you have the power to choose what to accept and what to let go. The key to being happy is knowing you have the power to choose what you want to accept and what you want to let go. All right, so is it true, Marie, that your homework will stop you going to the gym? Wow, Linda's saying she's lost a total of 5 stone. That's a lot. That's 16 pounds to a stone, people. 5 stone, 4 ounces. But it's doable. Good. I'll keep that. Yeah, I don't know if any of you have seen what Angela, You know, Angela in Vegas, what she's been doing. She's been going to the gym 6 days a week, and she has lost 2 dress sizes in a very short space of time. So good for her. So obviously she knows she's still got the same amount of time in the day, Marie, but what she said is, this is important, therefore I'm going to do this first. She probably goes to the gym before she does, homework and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I think the interesting thing that we have is how we prioritize things. And so we all have the excuses, Marie, so we totally understand. Yeah. I'm really delighted. You know, if I just, got off my rear end and did more packing, ready to go, and I need to increase this heavily now, I could lose a lot of weight. Oh, you try and go to the gym during my breaks in between classes. Okay, don't try, just do it. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that's actually a very good thing to do, because it also gives you a mental break. So that's clever. I like that idea. All right, so let's take a deep breath. Here comes another one. Let's see what it brings up for you. Don't cry over the past. Hi, Lizzie. It's gone. Don't stress about the future. It hasn't arrived. Live in the present and make it beautiful. So that is what I had to do with myself today. I gave myself a bit of a fright, and I just had to literally say, excuse me a second, don't go there. Don't go there. Stay in the present. Right now, you have no reason to be upset. So just, stay in the present. So how many of you need to be more aware of that during your day? Okay, Lizzie, switch to your iPad. How many of you know that you need to stay in the present a bit more? Stop worrying about what could happen. I had my friend Marnie contact me because she knew I did those 2 broadcasts on Friday. And she was saying, how are you doing? Because that must have been a tremendous stress on you to do those 2 broadcasts. And I said, actually, I'm doing surprisingly well. And when I say surprisingly well, I've done the work on those issues before, so that's a good thing. But obviously, in telling the story, it was very, very traumatic for me to even tell the story, which surprised me, actually, how much pain I did feel just even telling the story, even though I processed a lot of it. But I said to her, I still am of the opinion that if it helps just one person, it was worth doing. And I already know that it helped one person. And so therefore, I'm okay with it. I know it's going to take my body a little while just to settle down and get on its normal even keel. And maybe we'll look forward to next week. Hang on a second. With my sleep pattern not having quite as much red in it. All right. So we know that if I can do that, it's going to look a whole lot better. So, right. So let's really work this week at staying in the present. When you find yourself thinking, oh, if only this had happened, you go, no, well, it didn't. So, let me move on. Let me be in the present. Well, what if this happens? Well, we haven't got there yet, so there's no point worrying about it until it does. So that's what I would recommend, if you can. Is there anything that anybody is having difficulty letting go of this week? And if so, let us know. You needed to hear that, Lizzie. Okay. Wow, yes. Linda's having difficulty dealing with the anger, I presume, about the past owners of Lucky. Yes, Kerry's having difficulty letting go of her walls. Do you mean your physical ones, like getting outside, or do you mean the ones that you've built up, Kerry? All right, so Marie's saying she's going to be worrying a lot about her grades for your midterms because you're doing not very well in that class. Well, have you done your best, Marie? So the work we're going to do on Friday this week, Marie, is going to be talking about how to process that. All right, how to stop doing that to yourself if you can. Wow, Liz saying that she's on stress leave from work. Liz, is that the stress coming from work or everything else in your life? Yes, Marie, you see, you've studied your butt off and you've tried so hard, so you need to let the rest go. And you still receive some Fs. Well, that isn't because you haven't tried. That's because you didn't understand what you were looking at. So I'm certain that you're not the only person in the room that's had that happen, and maybe getting some help, with your studying would be an idea for you. Yeah, and Linda's saying, she's got the anger management problem at the moment. Nothing's stopping me from going up there and punching somebody I know. It wouldn't help but anybody but me, and it wouldn't help you either, Linda, because I don't think that's who you are. I don't think you're a vicious person. And therefore, let the authorities deal with those people. It's not for you. Let the people who deal with it. Okay, but here's Marie. You said you tried to form a study group, but everybody else bailed. That's not what you need, apparently. You need a tutor, right? You need a one-on-one person who can work with you, because the other people said they wanted to do better, but obviously, yes, you're going to talk to the professor. Exactly. That's proactive. Proud of you, Marie. That says, hey, I've studied so hard. I've done everything I can to put in the hours, but I'm still not getting it. Therefore, I need help. I know I'm not stupid. I just, for some reason, it's not getting into my brain. Wow. So Liz is saying, and Liz, big hugs to you as well. She says she has, is it okay for me to repeat this, Liz? Just let me check that with you, first of all. But basically what she's talking about was her anxiety got triggered for the first time in quite a while. And so the trick with the anxiety as well is most of anxiety has to do with us, not with them. All right, so Lizzie, do you agree that the coworker didn't trigger you? You got triggered by your coworker. Marie, we know you're not stupid. You're here every week. So that you don't qualify as stupid if you're prepared to do that. Okay, so Liz is saying she has no clue. I was triggered by a coworker who I found just too overwhelming, and my anxiety was triggered for the first time. I just, Liz and I go back quite a way. And Liz, if you missed it, Ozzy is on his way back to Indonesia soon. I just wanted to let you know that. And hopefully we will get some pictures from him pretty soon. All right, so Liz is saying she had panic attacks at work every day. So Liz, take a deep breath here. 2x4 coming, because I love you to bits. Liz, are you ready? I need you to listen to me. Tell me when you're ready, Liz. And in the meantime, Linda's saying that she's taking a cat from that abuse situation. And I think that's such a clever idea, Linda. I really do, that you take on, we said goodbye to Lucky, but that you're taking on Speedy. And we'll look forward to getting a picture, and we'll put Speedy up on the pet page as well. Okay, so Liz says, I did. Oh my gosh. All right. I'm not going to repeat that so the people in the room can read it, but I'm not going to repeat that. Liz, here's what I'm saying. And the 2x4 with velvet around it for you, which is don't allow this person to control your life. You're bigger than this. The Liz I originally met, maybe not, but I know you're bigger than this. This is called you were disgusted, all right, and went into full-blown overload with this one. So here is the thing, get rational. I know you can do it. So for the rest of you, yeah, and good for you for saying your doctor, but you lost control. You allowed them to take control of you. Can you believe that, Liz? You allowed this other person with her story to control your emotions. How does that feel? What is the emotion that comes up for you? By the way, we've all done it, so we relate. How do you feel about letting this person control your emotion? Good for you, Liz. I like the honesty of that. All right. I don't know why I reacted this way. Fear mostly. Yes. Fear of what she was talking about. I just don't think that I need to talk about that during the broadcast. But was it fear about what she was talking about? Because if you have fear of contamination or anything like that, you need to talk to the bosses about that. Right? Because that's, I think, a very real fear, but you make sure you're knowledgeable, whether that is something that's communicable in the everyday thing. Oh, thank you, Lauren, and welcome. Lauren's here, and I asked her whether I could share her news. Lauren on Thursday is going to be doing something that some of us have done, and it's really scary. She's going to be meeting her birth parents and grandparents, or is it just your birth father and grandparents? Good, Liz. So you did talk to them. Okay, go back to studying, Marie, and best of luck with your first midterm. Yeah, absolutely. Just your birth father and his parents. Okay, and you have never met them before? So how many of you know that's never met them? Okay, that's huge. That's really huge. So what are your emotions about that? What are you feeling? And while you're answering that, let me go back to Lizzie. Lizzie says that she did actually talk to her bosses and they laughed at her. Everybody laughed at you. which makes it worse. No, it doesn't make it worse. It is what it is. Okay? So the question is, Lizzie, let's deal with this for a second. You've got a really good reason to be that fearful of and being a germaphobe, all right? And you don't have to tell us about it, but somewhere in your life, you weren't careful and, or somebody wasn't careful, you know what I mean? So you've got a good reason. My reality with most people that I meet is they've got a really good reason for doing what they do. So, or you have got an unrealistic fear of the germs, all right? So you remember the story with Leslie, all right? Leslie was terrified to go outside for fear that somebody would throw up on her because it had happened once. And so what I would ask of you, Liz, is just to say, something that was last week. And this week is different. And do whatever you have to do, wear gloves, have hand sanitizer with you, do whatever you need to do, but also understand that some of it is unnecessary fear, I'm pretty sure, all right? Because you're walking by people every day with the same issues. You are, in the store every day with people with all sorts of germs around them. You understand, you go shopping and you never know what you're going to catch when you go shopping. You use a public restroom, you never know what you're going to get. So what I'm saying is that be aware that putting all your fear against this one person perhaps isn't fair to her. Does that make sense? And just go, it's done. All right, I've had my fear moment, time to grow up, get my big girl pants back on and let me get back to work. And forgive everybody who laughed. Forgive them. Because they don't understand how scared you were. And that is not their job, right? We expect people to be clairvoyant and to make sense of our sometimes irrational reactions. And it's not their problem, right? It's ours. Makes sense, Lizzie? So I personally don't think that you deserve to be laughed at. I think that was a bit cruel, quite honestly. But maybe that's the only way they could deal with it. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes people don't know the right way to deal with something and they end up laughing. Do any of you have that? I've got a friend of mine who, whenever she's really stressed, she starts to laugh because she doesn't know what the right reaction is. Now, Liz, you got yourself scared, stupid, and then you ran. All right? And you probably ran rather than get angry at the person. Because it's you. So first of all, thank you for coming here and thank you for talking about it. Thank you for owning it, because you understand when you own it, it's half the battle won. Now, we just need to work out what you need to do to be able to get back. I presume you still have a job. Okay, so you've been re-triggered because you were sent to get blood work. But you're scared. Yes, you did run. I can imagine you running. Yep. And Liz, look at me nicely here. This is you ran because that's called fight or flight. You had two choices, to get really angry or survive. Your survival was to get out of Dodge in a hurry. How many of you relate to that? That sometimes when you're up against something that really is scary, you run away. And I say run away, but you get out of the way of the oncoming train. So I don't think that's necessarily wrong, maybe a little unprofessional, but not wrong. I can understand why you did it. So I think, you probably need a couple of apologies going on there. Yeah, Kerry can relate. Jody relates. I relate. I've done it. I remember somebody triggering me so badly that my PTSD kicked in and I cried all day as an adult. Go figure that one. I could not control the tears. I was carrying on with my work, but the tears were absolutely flowing. Yes, you don't get angry. That is why you had the problem. It's okay to go, excuse me, I think that is inappropriate in a work setting. I need to tell you that. All right, so let me ask in a more general way to the other viewers, which is, have you ever been in a situation where somebody has started to talk about something that was really gross and not appropriate for a work setting? What has your reaction been, so we can try and help Liz a bit here? What sort of things would you recommend? I find just actually saying, hey, excuse me a second, that's very private information, and I would prefer not to hear that at work. That's something you should be telling your best friend, not a workmate. Right. Hi, Aaron. Do you understand? So anybody else got anything that you can feed in here in case it happens again? Change the subject immediately. Go, excuse me, we need to stop this conversation right now. It's inappropriate. And then get out of the way, but you don't have to leave work. Otherwise, she has controlled you. Yes, Kerry had the same thing happen, or something similar, and said, yes, she was revolted and stunned into silence. Jody says, change the subject immediately, right? Do whatever you need to do, but number one is put a stop to it. Say, I need you to stop. By the way, Lizzie, doing the body language is really a good idea, right? To actually physically go, I need you to stop right now, right? Put up the barrier. You'll be surprised how well that works. Now, that's a nice one. Linda says, that is a conversation, that conversation is not where I want to go right now, okay? Okay, you spoke to her as well, good, and she's a new coworker, and she laughed at you. That's okay, Liz. People laugh at us. It's okay. Have you ever laughed out of embarrassment? Have you ever laughed when you thought you did something wrong? Anybody here? Because I know a lot of people who, when they go under high stress, don't have what we might call the appropriate reaction. They start to laugh. I've got a really good friend of mine who does that. And it isn't that she means to laugh. It is the only thing she knows how to do. Kerry laughs when she's uncomfortable. Jody says she's laughed from embarrassment. So do you understand? She wasn't laughing at you necessarily. She was laughing out of embarrassment. She made a mistake and she knew it. Do you get it, Liz? Yeah. So, and this is the whole thing. I've done it too. So what I want to make sure Lizzie understands is the fact that she laughed doesn't mean that she laughed at you. By the way, those people at work who laughed at you, can you believe that at some level they probably felt quite sorry for you? Yeah, Linda's saying she's got a friend who laughs at funerals. That's the only way she can cope with a funeral. Very inappropriate behavior, right? For some people, they would judge her harshly for that, but that's the only way she can cope with a funeral. So, Liz, you need to forgive yourself and get back to work and not let this person control your life or your job, right? That's giving away your power, and I will not have you do that. It's just like, please do not do that. But give yourself a big hug and go, that's your kid reacting, right? And your kid doesn't like to be laughed at. Right. Jody's saying, when she's embarrassed, she tends to say the absolute dumbest things on top of, laughing, right? Oh, and you're her boss too. Wow. Okay, so this is actually easier, Liz, because you can say, I had to get myself out of the way before I really got angry about this. And that would have been totally unprofessional. So rather than get really angry at you, I moved myself out of the way. But now I'm back. And I just need to put the boundaries down about what we discuss at work and what we don't. And, I apologize if nobody has done that with you before. And, just, make sure your bosses know, you learned a lesson. You let her control your emotion and you got it sorted. And that won't be happening again. And, you can say to them, quite honestly, it shocked me so much that that conversation stunned me to the point where I just went numb. I think you probably did, Liz. So how do you get over the germ fear? Well, you just need to deal with it. Yeah, if you need to wear rubber gloves at work, I say latex gloves or whatever at work. You weren't expecting it and it shocked you. All right, that's what happened to you. You went, somebody hit you with something you totally didn't expect. And I'm pretty sure you ended up with that deer in the headlights look going, yeah, what on earth just happened here? And then you were terrified and you had to get out of the way. So, but the point is, Lizzie, I'd like you to get rational for a second. When you go shopping, do you check everybody around you to see if any of them have got any germs that you need to know about? When you're walking down an aisle in the supermarket, do you check everybody in that aisle to make sure they're not passing any germs onto you? When you grab a box of cereal from the shelf, are you wiping it down, as soon as you touch it to make sure it's clean? All right, so I'm asking you these things because the answer is probably no. But every single person that you meet tomorrow could have the same issue. So why do you react to this person and not to everybody else? Sharon says she hops on one foot quite often because the other one's in her mouth. I love that visual, Sharon. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. So you get the idea, Liz. You need to just talk to this child of yours and go, okay, fine, this is unrealistic now. Yeah, and sure, get tested. That will tell you whether you've caught anything. You've never been a germaphobe. Okay, so, if there's any way you can get to a therapist and talk this one out, it would be a really good idea. You know what I mean? Because it is an unusual reaction. So maybe talk to your doctor and say, hey, I think I need to talk to somebody about this because it came out of left field and I cannot believe how strong it was. And, in Canada, we do at least get some help on that area if we need it. So way to go, Lizzie. I'm very proud of you for talking about it. And I'm certain you're not, as I said, you're not the only one. Other people have had. It's one of those layers of the onion that you probably weren't aware of. And we've all got them, right? And it's like you didn't realize this was an issue until it hit you with, straight in the face as it did. Yeah, asking your doctor is very good idea. Start there. And there may be a help, a help group or something that you can go to, that deals with those sort of issues, because it's something you need to talk out. Yeah, so try and find out if there is a support group for people with this issue. All right, I'd even Google it, support group for germaphobes in, put your city and, your province. That's what I would look for. And then, go and join them for a while till you've got this sorted out, Lizzie. Take the time. Because, you probably find out it's a cover for something else that's underneath. Have any of you ever found that you react to one thing, but when you really get down to analyzing it, you find out that this was a cover for something else? And I don't believe in coincidences. So somewhere in your life, somebody you know. Okay, so Liz is saying that she has been referred, all right, to a subsidized one. Good. And you called them, but nobody's got back to you yet. When did you call them? Yeah, I'm not as stupid as I look, Lizzie. Thank God. But don't quit on this, Lizzie. Don't go, oh, they haven't got back to me yet. Who cares? I'll just go on. Now get this help. It was probably the straw that broke. You called them last week, right? When last week? Let's get specific here. Yeah, I worked that one out, Liz. I look past typos. Tuesday. Okay, so I'd be phoning again and saying, I did call last Tuesday. I haven't got an answer yet. Is that normal? All right. Yeah, I definitely would get therapy for that, because that's a big issue. And also I would tell my work that, that really surprised me, and I'm going to get some help with it, because that tells them that you're being proactive about it and being a big girl. Do you understand what I'm saying, Lizzie? And so what I would do is I would say, that's what I always say to myself. If they paid me $1 million to get an answer from these people, what would I be doing? Yes, Lizzie, we all do, honey. You're not that special. So, you know what I mean? It's like, and it's like, why aren't I good enough that they haven't phoned me back? Have you ever not phoned somebody back because you were a little bit overloaded or whatever? Do you understand what was happening last week, Lizzie? An awful lot of people were phoning an awful lot of therapists because of what was happening with the Kavanaugh hearing. But get in there and do the work on it, Lizzie. It's not going to go away unless you do the work on it. But we're here for you, and you know how to get hold of me if you need me. You want to try, Lizzie? I want to try. Really? Is that what you meant to tell me? You don't want to mess up your job and your relationship, because it's absolutely. So don't try, do it. And don't quit until it's done. You know what I mean? It's like, if after 2 weeks you still haven't got a response, go back to the doctor and go, excuse me, these people are wankers. I've phoned them twice. I haven't got a response. I need help. Who do I go to next? And get proactive on this. Because I can't afford to lose my job or my relationship. This obviously is an issue that I need to deal with, and I need to deal with it now. But I'm pretty sure that there must be a support group for germaphobes around. And I'd start, even online, if you can find one online, I'd start working with one, because, it's an important part. By the way, I don't know if you know, Lizzie, but Yvonne downstairs was a germaphobe when I first met her, and still is to some degree, but not the same. How do you break down your walls? They're there for a good reason, Kerry. So which one, can we put some words around a particular wall? Which wall is it you're trying to knock down? It's okay, Lauren, no problem. Big hugs to you, and all the best with that meeting this week. Yeah, she actually did it a different way. She actually dealt with the overall issue, not specifically that. She had OCD that was all tied into that. So she dealt with the OCD side. Why, Liz, why are you sorry? That's what we're here for. That's exactly why we do this, Liz. Duh. And if anybody deserves some help, I think it's you. Well, and a few other people I can think of, but so this is like, so what I want to know, right? What I want to know is when Jody reminds me this time next week, which she will, have we heard from Lizzie and her appointment? I will go no, but I will get hold of her. So Lizzie, I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be chasing your bet on this one. And okay, so Lizzie has said, Linda's asking me, no, it's not a priority cell, but could I wish Nicholas good luck? We are talking to see who's ELO? Okay, so all right, so we're going to chase you down, Lizzie, on this one. Thanks, Jody, for making a note of that. Yeah, so Nicholas, that's what I wondered. That's a long time ago, though. All right, so Nicholas, I believe you're going to go to the Electric Light Orchestra. How exciting. Lots of stimulation there. So I hope it's wonderful. And if you would, Nicholas, could you make sure your mum knows about it so that she can tell us how much you enjoyed it? And we want to know what you enjoyed specifically, not just the whole thing, but, it was that one with this bit going on here and whatever. So you make sure your mummy knows and that she will tell us, Nicholas. That would be awesome. How exciting. It's funny, I saw ELO and I'm thinking the only thing I can think of is Electric Light Orchestra. And for some reason, I thought that was old school. And I didn't think that was current. So there we go. Okay, that's good. So we want the feedback, please. And if he happens to have any pictures that he takes, we'd like to see those too. Because, we're very visual people. Does he have the ability to take a picture? It's normally not allowed to take a picture. I need to hasten to add that. But I'm certain there's a way to take a picture of the program or, something so we can see something. Hi there. Hi, Kim. All right, so Lizzie, are you under control? And Kerry, I'm coming back to you in a second. Actually, I really did get Electric Light Orchestra, but why did I think that was my generation, not this one? I don't know why, but never mind. I just want to make sure Lizzie's okay. And then we'll just deal with Kerry's thing. It could take you the rest of your life to work it out, Lizzie. Go back to work. Just let them know, hey, I'm going to do everything I can to keep this under control. By the way, I'm waiting to go and get some help with it. I've been to my doctor. I'm going to find out what's causing this. So just to let you know, that's what my plan is. You don't actually have to tell them that by law, if you know what I mean. But just say, quite honestly, it shocked me as much as it shocked you. And I'm going to find out why that I had that reaction. There must be a reason for it. And I'm going to be doing some work on it, just so that you know. Oh, it's bouncing all, Kim, as usual, it's bouncing all over the place. So, yeah, let me get some feedback from other people on this one. What do you think? Do you think Lizzie should tell. I mean, it depends what your relationship is with your boss. But I must admit, I would say, hey, I'm sorry. I'm certain that probably was as weird to you as it was to me. I've been to the doctor. I've discussed it. We're going to get me some help on it and find out what it was that triggered, because obviously something triggered that wasn't normal. And I need to find out what it is, and I'm going to be doing that work. End of story. It's all you have to say, and get on with your work. Because what will happen, they'll feel a lot better about the fact that they know that you're dealing with it. That's adult behavior. All right, so Kerry, you want to take the next step in telling Mike about what goes on? Yeah. Why don't you start? This would be my suggestion. Why don't you start by saying to Mike that you would like to tell him more about your past, but your fear is that you will overwhelm him or scare him too much, and see how he reacts to that. Have you thought about doing it that way? Tell the boss that you like, the one that relates to you, okay? And let that boss tell the other boss. And don't be embarrassed. That is like almost a PTSD reaction, all right? Okay. That's what I would do. I would go, Mike, I've got baggage, and you know that, and I've got baggage, and I'd like to share more of it with you because I think it will help you understand me a bit better. But I am dead scared that, number one, it may overwhelm you, or number two, that you will run. So I need to know, how much do you think you can handle? Because he's got a sense of humor from what I can see. And just, would he prefer to you have just let a little bit out, each week, or whatever? But the trick is to give him a bit of information and let him process it. All right, because each bit of the onion that you unravel for him, all right, he needs to be able to process that. I want to tell you something, Kerry, that I tried to do that with somebody I was in a relationship with, and he spent the whole time telling me, that's terrible, I can't believe anybody did that to you, oh, da. And, just went on and on. And then the next week he did exactly the same thing. So, you know what I mean? It's like sometimes they don't listen. They think they hear, but they don't listen. So be aware of that. Does anybody else know what I speak here? I literally said, this is my experience, so please be very careful about this, this, and this. And the very next week, he just totally didn't hear it and did that. And I must admit, I stopped the relationship, because if he didn't hear that, it's like, that was major. And I made sure when I told him that this was a really big issue for me. And it was so strange, because when he just walked right over it and I called him on it, I said, how can you possibly do that? I just told you last week. Yeah, but did it? I'm going, no, that's all about you. That's not about me at all. That's your needs, not mine. And I went, okay, that's it. Not the right person. All right, this is a nice quote that I'd like to share with you. Maybe it will help some of you in this one. It says, if you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or objects. All right, so don't expect people to make you happy. Don't expect things to make you happy. But the fact, Lizzie, that you make that call and you get in to see somebody will make you happy. I mean, it won't be a pleasant experience dealing with it, but you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I did this for myself. That's really good for your being. Okay, so there you go, Kerry, right? You've got triggers, and Mike's triggered you a couple of times because he's not clairvoyant. and he can't figure out why you're upset. Good. So you want to tell him, say, hey, I know you're not clairvoyant. I know you've said a couple of things and you've watched me react in quite a strong way. There are reasons for that, and I'd like to share them with you. Do you want me to share them with you a little bit at a time, or do you want, the whole of the garbage can, or do you want the whole truck? Because, and I don't need you to change. I need you to just know where those triggers are for me. Okay, so depending on what it is you want to talk about, why don't you sort of role play it with a couple of us in a private group or something, so we can maybe come up with some wording for you. Would that help you, Carrie? Just to let you know, the thing that I had the conversation about, and it relates to some of the story I was telling on Friday about the Me Too thing, was that I was trying to explain, don't ever hold me down. Don't ever pin me down, because I've been in a bad situation. And the next week he did. Yeah, Kerry, that's perfectly normal. The reason that you clam on some things and an open book on others is the same thing I was saying on Friday, all right? That some things I'm capable of talking about quite easily. Other things, it doesn't matter how much work I've done on them, they still cause my body to go into pain. When I say my body, but emotionally, I still am in pain. It doesn't matter how much work I do on it. It was so horrific to me at the time. The scars are so vivid. And so, I think it's really important, Kerry, that you're gentle with yourself, and that you say to him, what you're going to hear is probably going to upset you, because I know you care about me, but I believe you deserve to know. And maybe we can work through them together in a way that we can come to a win-win on some of them. And also that if I strongly react to something, you will at least know there's a reason why I'm doing it. And maybe give him the words, Kerry, I would do this in this relationship. Say to him, if I ever overreact to something in your view, could you just ignore it in the short term as best you can? And then when I'm settled, go, I noticed that on Friday when I said da-da-da-da-da, you really jumped down my throat and hit me over the head with a fire truck. There's got to be a reason. All right. And, get him to say, Kerry, can you tell me what the reason was? Let's try and work out what it was. All right. Get him to help you. But his job is not to be your therapist. That's one thing I always say to people. Understand that it's not his job to be your therapist. So if it's a lot of stuff, you need to be going back to therapy and talking that out with your therapist or your group, all right? That I'm noticing this is happening. But the other thing is, I would recommend that you have a code word between you. And it may be as simple as ouch. So that if you suddenly overreact to something, that he gets to say, ouch, which means that you snapped at him and he doesn't know why. That might help. And then it may take you a little while to get settled, but then if you heard an ouch, when you're settled, go back and go, I heard the ouch, and I'm sorry that I snapped at you. This is what happened. And I am sorry. That you may need to apologize for quite a lot. Because even though we have reason for doing it, Kerry, doesn't mean it's right. You're right. Lizzie, same thing with Lizzie, right? Just because she's got a good reason for running out of a store, it doesn't mean that it's professional behavior. right? She has good reason for doing it. So we've got to be able to deal with the adult side of it as well. Does that make sense? Haven't got to. You may choose to. So I would say, like everything else in life, Kerry, do it baby steps as best you can. And because on some of the things, I'm pretty sure that even you don't know. And so, if you find that you're reacting to stuff and he goes, why did you react like that? You go, I don't know, but I'm going to find out. Right? Yeah, Lizzie, I know that because you're smart. All right. So it wasn't professional. You knew it and you apologized for it. Yeah. But unfortunately, it doesn't take it away. So now it's really important that you go the extra mile in terms of being professional, and that they can see that. This is like, okay, fine. This is. No, I understand that, Lizzie. I understand you couldn't help yourself. That's post-traumatic stuff. That isn't, somewhere along the line, something has happened that you have that fear. And it may not have happened to you. It might have been a story that you heard when you were very young about somebody who caught some terrible disease, from whatever. It's something that somewhere in your brain, there is a story that you heard and it frightened the living daylights out of you. This is not normal behavior. This is terror, trauma. So at the time, if you like, your librarian in your head went, I need to remember this. If ever this comes up again, I need to get her out of the way to make sure she's safe. Okay, so Kerry says her walls are being tested because of the recent hearings. Yes, yours and mine too. Actually, I'm quite surprised what's happening with me on it, Kerry, because I'm actually getting, I'm in a different place now because of that. So, it's up to us to choose, all right, how we're going to react to that. Do we want to get stronger because of those hearings or do we want to get weaker? And I was actually quite surprised because I just went, I know this is bringing up stuff for me. What do I want to do with it? Do I want to? Yeah. So, but Kerry, you've got safe people around you in the group, right? I mean, if you need to talk to us as a private group somewhere, I'll gladly do a broadcast with you and a couple of people that you trust and give you that room. You are a survivor, Kerry. Yeah. No doubt about it. You are a survivor, but it doesn't mean that you don't want to, you still get angry. Lizzie had something happen. I've said this to you time and time again. When you are a survivor, it's the smallest thing and it doesn't make any sense to anybody. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't make any sense to you. I want to tell you something. That day that I couldn't stop crying, I had a boss tell me off in front of people. It was, it was very rude and totally uncalled for and totally unprofessional. But the effect it had on me was not rational. I was so angry because I think what I really needed to do was punch him. And I knew I couldn't do that. And so the kid in me took over and cried out of frustration. And she kept crying. I could not control her for probably 6 hours or something. And I let her do it because my feeling was, okay, there's something going on here. I don't know what it is. Yeah. Okay. So, and your little kid is stomping around, throwing a tantrum, and you don't know how. Yeah. Okay. That's good. So you just need to talk it out, Kerry. So what I would recommend is write it in an email and send it to me. All right. Tell me exactly what's happening with the little kid. Ask her, go, why are you so angry? And then let her tell you. It does make sense. And then say, yeah, and what else? Because we're writing it down now. And keep asking her, and what else? And what else? And what else? All right. Okay, so Liz is saying she did figure out something. Right? And what you'll find, Kerry, is just by writing it, your kid will calm down. because you're getting it out of her realm. And, and each time you go, that makes sense. I can understand why you're upset. What else is making you angry? Okay, that makes sense to me as well. Okay, what else? What else? What else? All right, and get it all down on paper. You don't ever have to send it to me. Ah, well done, Liz. So Liz is saying that her fear of losing her happiness, right, her job, her relationship, if she ever caught anything from her, yeah, that would be scary, wouldn't it? And she made that a public statement. That's what amazes me. That is a public statement that she made. And, you might want to ask your bosses, we know this is, but it's, if it's, I'm going to say the words, Liz, but if this is an STD, you have to be sexually involved for that to be contagious. You right? That's why it's called an STD, sexually transmitted disease. So maybe you could do something positive here, Liz. Maybe what you could do is do a little bit of research on that, sexually transmitted diseases in the workplace, and find out what do people need to know about that. All right, somebody said it publicly, or was it just private with you? So what I'm saying is that you could take this as a learning moment. What does the law say? You might even want to speak to just private with you. Okay, but you subsequently told other people? Okay, because this brings up another thing. If she privately told you and nobody else knows, then I would deal with it a different way. Yeah, it takes great courage for somebody to admit they have an STD, Liz. Yeah. But do your bosses know what this was about, or do they think you just ran out for no reason at all? They know. Okay. So what I'm saying is that you may want to take this as a learning moment for everybody. Yeah. And find out what your rights are, because I've got a feeling, that if somebody actually tells you about this, what do you need to do? What did your doctor suggest? Kerry, we all hate allergies. This is the first year I've had to take antihistamine all year. I'm still stuffed up. All right, we're getting pretty close to the end of the broadcast, so I want to make sure everybody's in a fairly good place now. And you know what steps you're going to take next. Kerry, you feeling okay? By the way, Kerry, if you need some time to talk things through, you just need to let us know, right? We'll put a group together and we'll do it on a hangout or something privately. But I think it's great that you actually want to have that conversation. That tells me, Kerry, that you actually want that a relationship that you have to go a step farther. Yeah. Okay, so Liz, I would thank that boss and say, hey, thank you for your understanding. I don't know what happened, but I am going to get it. I am going to be working on it because, it really, obviously there is something underneath there somewhere that I need to find out, because that was an unusually strong reaction. And I'm not sure how long it'll take me to get in and get some help, but that is what I'm busy working with my doctor on. And then just leave it. Kerry, it's our pleasure. Anything that we can do. Well, you don't have to. You don't have to, but as a boss, I think it might make your boss feel a little bit stronger, and just go, hey, I've apologized. I can't do a lot more than that, except tell you that I just want you to know that I've been to my doctor. I've discussed it. I am, busy working on getting some help with it, because, that was a very strong reaction. And it came out of nowhere. I have no idea what caused it, and I want to find out. I just go, I don't know if you're perfect, but apparently I'm not. I got a little blip here, and I'd like to find out what's causing this blip. I'd make it a little bit funny, because none of us is perfect, Lizzie. And that's where you go, I'm dealing with it. And no one's perfect, honey. They might pretend to be, but nobody is. I'm glad, in a way, Lizzie, I'm glad it happened, because it happened. There's something there. You can find out what it is, and it'll stop it happening again, hopefully, or it'll give you the tools you need. And by the way, we're going to be doing some of that work at the weekend, and if you on Friday, and if you are not available to listen to it, maybe check some of it on the replay. What's perfect? Yeah, it's not an area I've been to. So this is, thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it, as usual. And it's a busy week for a lot of people. And Beth, if you're listening, I know you're stalking and listening, but we wish you all the best for the arrival of baby Lily. Anything that we can do to keep you calm. Definitely we will get the words with friends team up, doing lots of words with you. But the main thing is, Beth, if I can say that, it's really important for you to stay underwhelmed rather than overwhelmed this week. Wait a minute, Lizzie, you're saying they gave you stuff for anxiety. What did they give you? And the reason I'm asking is it a short-term thing or a long-term thing? And what's for dinner? Well, I don't have to cook tonight. I'm doing gravy because they do like the way I make gravy, but they are actually making dinner for me. It's Thanksgiving. So I believe we're having ham. So I can smell it right now. I can smell Brussels sprouts at the moment. Okay, so that is an antidepressant type thing, Lizzie. I believe. So that's one of those things you're going to have to take, and it starts building up. But if you feel under control, yeah, you didn't take any. Yeah, that's yeah, that's why I'm just saying, watch out for that. It's Oh, hi, Jody. The organizational videos, yeah. I definitely, if I thought I was doing any organizing, I probably would. I had, really, I hit another plateau, which is very difficult. But I now need to put the speed on a bit in terms of getting things ready. It's difficult at the moment. Perhaps that'll be more relevant when I move, Jody in Colorado, because now I'm at the point of, I'm boxing stuff pretty, rather than organizing it. Does that make sense? But when I get to the other side, I'm seriously going to have to organize, because I'm going to have, a sixth of the space. Yeah, and that's Halloween, right? 31st, I think, Carrie, your birthday. Okay, I need to go because I'm going to have Thanksgiving dinner. So everybody, thank you for sharing what you did. I'm sure you helped other people. Be happy this week as best you can. And if you are overloaded, overwhelmed, or whatever, let us know. We'll try and help you out. And the main thing is, understand none of us is perfect. We all get overwhelmed. Understand that sometimes we understand why we're overwhelmed and sometimes we don't understand, but we've always got a good reason. We don't have these things happen to us because we're stupid. We have them happen to us because something has upset us. And I really do encourage you to go and be gentle with yourself on that. Okay, there was a good reason why this happened. My job is to find out what it is. Does that make sense? There is a good reason, right, Kerry, why you want to take the risk. And make sure Mike knows that. The reason you want to tell him this is because you trust him and respect him, and he deserves to know a little bit more of your story. I would not dump the whole of the garbage truck on top of him, quite honestly. I'd give him, a Safeway bag rather than even a black bag, and keep handing him a Safeway bag and see how he deals with it. Does that make sense, Kerry? It was like when quite honestly, Kerry, when I did the two Me Too videos, I had to ask myself, which stories do I tell? Because you understand, I have more stories than this one. And so what I decided was I would tell this one because it had so many bits to it. It was international. It was very unusual. Not many people would be in that situation. But on the other hand, I thought you could all relate to the trauma for a 16-year-old. And that's why I decided to tell that story. But the reality is I have more stories to tell of this. And, I don't necessarily need to do it. But that was my thing. Do I, take the Safeway bag, the black bag, or the whole garbage truck, and in my case, the whole garbage dump. And I'm going, I'm just going to do this bit because it's relevant to what's going on in our history. So baby steps. All right, everybody, big hugs to you all, and very happy Thanksgiving to all the Canadians, and do the best you can to be happy because nobody else is going to do it for you. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you for your time. Liz, thank you for sharing with us. That is our gift, that you actually trusted us enough to tell us. And sending you a big hug. And we will speak to you soon, Liz. And Liz, I will be checking up. If you don't, let me know. Know this to be true. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now.